Hello Year 3 and Year 4, it's Miss Bellis here and welcome to our new science learning. We are going to be looking at something called states of matter over the next few lessons, but to start us off we're going to be identifying parts of a cycle. So what does that mean? What does the word cycle mean to you? In this case, the cycle is going to be a series of events that are regularly repeated, a bit like when a bicycle wheel goes round and round. We're going to be looking at something that is called the water cycle. So here's a picture of the water cycle. You can see that we've got some water here, we've got some clouds, some mountains and snow, and we've got the land. But what we're really interested in is the water. Water covers 70% of the Earth's surface and makes up approximately 60% of our bodies. This amazing natural resource is essential for life in both animals and plants. Besides having many amazing properties, water is the only substance that appears on Earth naturally in all three states of matter. So that's gas, when it's a water vapour, liquid, when it's the sort of water we drink, and solid, which is when it's snow or ice. Most other substances only exist in one state of matter. As water goes through different stages of the water cycle, it changes from one form to another. So what is the water cycle? The water cycle describes how water moves continuously, that's all the time, on Earth. And it loops through different stages: evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and flow. And it returns back to the evaporation stage. And the whole cycle starts all over again. And that's why we call it the water cycle. So what do some of these words mean? Let's look at evaporation. Evaporation takes place wherever there is exposed water, such as on the surface of the ocean, rivers or lakes. When the sun heats up exposed water, the water on the surface turns into vapour and goes into the air. Evaporation can happen at any temperature, but warm water evaporates faster than cold water. If you boil the water, you can see steam rising from the surface. That's a fast evaporation that you can actually see. You might have seen it at home, perhaps when your parents have boiled a kettle, or maybe when you've had a hot bath. Even when you cannot see steam or vapour, evaporation can still be happening, although at a much slower rate. And that takes us up to condensation. When the water vapours in the air rise and reach the upper atmosphere, it's much colder up there. And the cold temperature causes them to release heat and change back into liquid. These fine water droplets hang on dust particles in the air to form clouds. And that takes us across to precipitation. As water droplets collide and condense together in the upper atmosphere, they grow heavier and larger, and they then fall out of the cloud as precipitation, and that just means rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow or hail. Through precipitation, the water falls back onto the Earth's surface. Some water flows downwards and ends up in the sea, lakes or rivers. Some soaks into the ground, becoming groundwater which feeds the plants, or runs through the soil and ends up in the ocean. Some is consumed by animals, and from there the water cycle starts all over again. Now I found a little video that explains it as well, and there's the link at the bottom of the page for you, and that's on the BBC Bite Size. It's called What is the Water Cycle? So have a look at that video and join me back here. Okay, so here are some pictures of the water cycle in action. We can see evaporation, there's some steam there, and then it's cooled down to condensation. See these droplets here get heavier and become precipitation. In this case, rain. We can see some of it's going straight back into the water and some of it's landing on a hard surface, and then flowing off the hard surfaces or flowing off of the land into the rivers and then back to the sea where it starts all over again. So here's your activity. So we've got this picture here, and based on this picture, can you draw your own picture or diagram of the water cycle? You'll need to label it with the words below. Can you add arrows to show the direction of the water cycle? So the labels you will need to use are sun, sea, rain, rivers and streams, ground runoff, condensation, evaporation, precipitation and flow. It's absolutely fine if you would like to add colour to your diagram as well. So you're going to need to look after your diagram as you're going to be needing it for our next session when we will be doing a water cycle investigation. So for the investigation, you're going to need a clear sealable plastic bag. A sandwich bag is perfect, but if you can get any clear plastic bag that you can seal the top of somehow, that'll be absolutely fine. You'll need some water and you will need some marker pens or felt tips. Well, that's it for today. I'm really looking forward to seeing your diagrams and I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.